You may call it in this evening, but you've only lost the night. Preset all your pretty feelings, may they comfort you tonight. And I'm climbing over something, and I'm running through these walls. I don't even know if I believe. I don't even know if I believe. I don't even know if I believe everything you're trying to say to me. I had the strangest feeling. Your world's not all it seems. So tired of misconceiving what else this could have been. I don't even know if I believe. I don't even know if I believe. I don't even know if I believe everything you're trying to say to me. So open up my eyes, tell me I'm alive. This is never gonna go our way. If I'm gonna have to guess what's on your mind. Something like you love me. That you wanna move away from the noise of this place. Well, I don't even know if I believe. Well, I don't even know if I believe. I don't even know if I wanna believe anything you're trying to say to me. So open up my eyes. Tell me I'm alive. This is never gonna go our way. If I'm gonna have to guess what's on your mind, open up my eyes. Tell me I'm alive. This is never gonna go our way. If I'm gonna have to guess what's on your mind.
Good evening or good afternoon, everyone. My name is Katie Gideon, and I am normally calling from Houston, Texas, but I have just been spending holidays up in Tulsa, Oklahoma with my family. So you get Katie Gideon in her childhood bedroom from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then I also want to do a huge shout out right off the bat to my other co-facilitator, the amazing and wonderful Karen, who is dialing in from California. Always love to work with Karen for these, especially when we get into those kind of deeper journal prompts. So welcome. Love to see some returning faces, returning names, as well as some new folks. It's always great to have new folks at these events because let's be honest, I feel like these journal prompts are always a little bit trickier, even for me to tackle. So being able to share tips, tricks, and ideas, not only with you guys, but with the amazing facilitator team that we have here, so that we can at least start kind of reflecting on some of these. So we will be working in our December journal. So if you have your December journal, make sure you have it out. If you are still waiting on maybe your January journal and you're joining us a little bit early, you can grab just some scrap pieces of paper or sticky notes. And we are going to be working on page 16 and page 24 and page 24 in the December journal for our promise today. And then make sure that you are in the chat set up to everyone so that you can share all of your tips, tricks, ideas. And then everyone who is here is entered in your self-care raffle. So we are glad you're here. We are glad you are joining on us on this one of Thursday to kind of close out this kind of weird week between Christmas and New Year's where people are kind of working, not working, some working, random workings. So it's a really good opportunity for us to sit together and do some really good self-reflection, especially as we run into the new year and all the excitement that New Year has, all of the possibility, the hope, and even some of the pressure. So we're here as one team to knock this out. Yes, I always do. So make sure you have pens, pencils, whatever you need. Tissue is always helpful with some of these kind of deeper challenges. And we are excited to get started. So we are still continuing with the month of Believe. And I feel like this is such a great way to kind of end the year. I know that there are folks that kind of find some of these themes a little challenging, a little triggering, but I feel like it's always an opportunity to reframe some of these. But I like to embrace the believe concept. I was definitely a little kid that believed in all that is the holiday season, but I think now is a really good opportunity as I have gotten older, wiser to some extent, is that this is also an opportunity as we head into the new year to not only embrace believe, but to embrace the believe in ourselves, believe in myself, believe in me mantra. Because at the end of the year, I feel like we're all a little tired, a little run down, a little worn out on some of those goals. And then the pressure to ramp up again January and kind of do it all again can be big, pressure, daunting. So we're going to still embrace that believe in ourselves concept. So here's going to be our agenda today. We've got an opening activity, and then again, we're going to be tackling that visualization activity on page 16. And apologies for the typo on this one, but the acrostic poem is actually on page 24. And we'll be doing a closing. So the first one we're going to do as we roll into New Year's is the fortune cookie activity. So go ahead and find a blank notes page in your December journal. Or just a blank scratch piece of paper. I actually had another journal that I ripped out the page on so that I could draw my next activity. But we're going to be doing fortune cookies, which I think is a fun embrace to kind of as we go into the new year, because fortune cookies symbolize wisdom, luck, and fate. So what we're going to do is draw a couple fortune cookies. You can draw one, you could draw a multiple, and then you're going to write yourself a fortune that you believe will come true, or that you aspire to come true, or that you want to manifest to come true. So don't worry, I've got some fun ideas. But here is my fortune cookies. I am not an artist. I actually, like I said, I ripped that page out, held it up to my computer screen, and traced the fortune cookies on the right. And I was pleased with it. Then I did some coloring, but I went with 4 fortune cookies. I am set to have some kind of life milestones coming up, new job, new location, new opportunity. So I wanted to kind of embrace some of those. So the big one that I'm wanting to do is embrace the next adventure, get up, get out, let stuff go, trust in your skills, listen and process, and then keep on keeping on is one of my favorite mantras. So again, let's turn to a blank notes page or a blank scratch piece of paper. We're going to draw some fortune cookies. Also, what's fun about fortune cookies is they are the perfect size to fit in your shopping list or one of your scratch pads on your weekly spread. So you can, or even if you have your January journal, you can sprinkle your fortune cookies through your weekly spread to kind of add some extra motivation and manifest some of those. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to give you some time to work on this. I also have some additional fortunes if you need help finding fortunes, and we'll go from there. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. There were some really great inspirational fortunes. I think this is one of those kind of fun, tamer exercises that we can start with. But I also love the challenge of taking something as kind of simple as an affirmation or a manifestation or a quote saying, and then kind of adding it into an interesting, fun visual. So as I said, since I ripped this little page out from a previous one, I can just post my little fortune cookies on my bulletin board. But I think it is certainly something fun to then carry on into your January journal to kind of manifest those, just to kind of embrace the new month, the new year, as well as just kind of sprinkle in some of those times where you just need a little extra motivation, or something that you truly want to embody and embrace. And I love that. So thank you for everyone joining us with that first activity. So now we're going to get down to the the tougher part of these activities. So please join me on page 16 in your December journal with this visualization activity. And as I said, I've been a member of Silk and Sonder going on, I think now close to a little over 2 years. And I definitely signed up initially for the, task, the trackers, the planners, all those things. And I avoided these prompts like it was my job. And it's mainly because the blank page makes me very uncomfortable, very nervous. I am one of those very driven, needed to break away with perfection, break up with perfection because I wanted to know the answer. I wanted to have the right answer. And so these were always a little tricky. But now I have definitely started to lean into them. I appreciate coming to the socials to get that kind of added inspiration. So the biggest thing is take some deep breaths, give yourself some grace, but also give yourself permission to just start writing, start tackling these prompts, start just doing the activity. And if you need some motivation or starting points, let us know in the chat and we'll be able to help you. But what we're going to be focusing on is for this particular activity, we're going to answer these questions at the top, which is 1 year from now, what do you want to do? Who do you want to be? Where do you want to be? What do you want to have? What changes do you want to see in your life? What do you want to manifest? And then always recommended to write openly and freely. But as we always say, you can always use it kind of bullet style, sticks or stickers, categories. You can write this as a letter to a future self. Maybe it's a letter from your past self to your future self. Maybe it's a letter to kind of the person you wish you were, you want to be, just kind of an open, honest conversation. But you can also, maybe you're not ready to write on the paper yet. You can always take notes, jot down some ideas. Karen is one of those that coined the phrase, just do a brain dump. You can do a brain dump on this page. You can do a brain dump on another page. And a brain dump is just where you put whatever comes into your head to answer any of these questions. Don't edit yourself. Don't proofread yourself. Just put down what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Because when you do that in these activities, you'll find that you're kind of in a different place than maybe you thought you were. But you can see kind of a transition or kind of a phase as you go through each month, each quarter, and it's really interesting. And I think it's a great way to kind of self-reflect and look into all those things. But then you can always come back to song titles, quotes, scriptures, affirmations for a starting point of inspiration, or you can always ground yourself under the believe concept. But it wouldn't be a social without some reframing ideas, because I love to reframe. I feel like it's like that small rebellion in me of just like, I'm not going to answer the question. I am going to answer the question, but I'm kind of going to do it a different way. So what I decided to do was to break it up into categories. So I have made my big scary blank page a little less scary because I've broken it into 3 categories. So I am going to visualize kind of where I want to be, what do I want to do, what do I want to have, as I focus on specifically for my mind, my health and body, as well as my heart. So those are the categories I used to kind of narrow down the big scary question that all those were, kind of as a, here are my answers, now I just got to fill in the blanks to it. But a couple other ideas is you can turn this into kind of a brain dump for a vision board. I'm so excited that Karen is my co-facilitator for this, because Karen does amazing vision boards. She's got a vision board social coming up soon, so keep an eye out for that, because you can start doing some brain dump brainstorming ideas in preparation for that. But you can also turn this into maybe an action list. So maybe you've kind of thought out who you want to be, where you want to be, what you want to do, but now we need to turn those into kind of steps that you can move forward. What are the action items to achieve some of those questions? And you can answer some of those with what is the support that you need, what help can you ask for? And sometimes this is just the, where do I even know to answer some of these questions? So you may have to do other questions to answer the questions. I know, a total conundrum. Or you can always come back to, what do you want to start, stop, and continue. But at the end of the day, give yourself permission to reflect. Don't proofread, just get started. And we'll check in a little bit. Hi, everyone. Just want to do a quick check-in because it looks like everyone's off to a really great start. I love the motivation that some folks are using with their word of the year as their kind of visualization opportunity. And I think that is an excellent way to start. As I said, I went again through this category idea because I feel like Dana and I found some camaraderie there. And that's what I love about these socials. You can always connect with someone, is that I need like a word pyramid because I can't just be confined to one word, cannot be tamed. But on this particular one, I focused on my mind. And it was really what I realized is I had kind of gone through a tough transition that I think I saw a lot of people is I was questioning myself at work, which is my skills, my confidence, all those things. So now being able to step into this new position potential, I'm having to almost change my mindset, which is very tricky, I think, for me. And so needing to focus on building that confidence, building that, skill set that, the kind of obnoxiously very full of myself 20-year-old was. And now the somewhat passive, mild mannered 30-year-old that I've become, which blows my mind. Ironic. So that's kind of where I went with this visualization activity, but love seeing the motivation on the words, love the honesty with some of these, especially when it comes down, 1 year from now, what do you want to do with this? Adding that kind of time frame to it, because as we know that all steps, all movement is great. You're going to go forward, you're going to go back, you may go sideways. Again, movement is great. But sometimes patience and time and believing in the process and believing in the system and believing in the development is going to be one of those things. So keeping it in kind of a frame of reference with time, I think is always a good concept kind of with these prompts. So everybody keep going in the direction they're going. You guys are doing great, and we will see you in a little bit. Welcome back, everyone. Like I said, I loved the continuation on the um, conversation on kind of visualizing under a word of the year, a word pyramid of the year for those that can't quite navigate to a single word. But I feel like it's another one of those opportunities you can always kind of umbrella a bunch of different ones to kind of embody different categories. I'm a huge fan of breaking things down into categories because one thing may apply to one part of my life, one may apply to a different. I maybe have a different approach to my personal life, my professional life, all those things. So I'm a fan of categories. So of course I'm going to have a multitude of words. But I think it's a great opportunity to visualize this here. And then what I also like to see is that we saw some folks that were writing letters. I think the letters are very powerful, especially when you're addressing it to future self from a past you or kind of that dynamic. But hopefully you at least took the plunge to kind of at least attempt this in some form or fashion, be it the start of a vision board, a brain dump, a visualization of a end of the year word or word of the year, or breaking it into categories, or even a start, stop, and continue. But basically you gave yourself the permission to tackle this kind of super scary blank page, which is kind of sort of why we're here. So now we are going to move on to our next activity. So please join us again on page 24 for the acrostic poem. And then again, little secret is, I mean, maybe less, it's not really a secret anymore. I feel like I talk about it at these socials, is that the large blank space prompts, not in my comfort zone. The acrostic poems, equally not in my comfort zone. English literature, all those things were just okay. I'm an avid reader, but poetry, not my thing. So the fact that we get to now tackle this acrostic poem, I think is great. Because this is one of those, there is no right or wrong answers to these. There is no right or wrong approach to these. You can absolutely do what works best for you. Karen and I were just kind of joking as we talked about it because we're the ones that have our thesauruses with us looking for words that start with B, words that start with E, words that start with L to kind of come through. So it's just not a skill that comes naturally. So that's where you can always think of it in terms of individual words or phrases. But I feel like the varsity level challenge is to kind of carry the phrases across the different letters. And I think that is a skill. Folks that share these in the Sonder Club have amazing talents with these. You guys provide so much inspiration for all of these. So there is no right or wrong here. You can connect the words to kind of build this complete thought, or again, using those kind of motivational phrases, manifestation, any of those things to kind of embrace this entire theme of believe as we move into the next year. So we've got a couple examples here. One person also included some doodles. If you haven't had Malika as one of her facilitators, she is a lovely doodler. She's got very fun doodles, but you have just different approaches to this. And I feel like there is, again, no right or wrong answer. The one on the right, for example, they embraced songs that they kind of acquired or really spoke to them over the year. And so that was their way to kind of acknowledge them at the end of the year, to kind of provide some extra motivation. Music is their love language type deal. So they included, not only the name of it, but the singer and the album, just to, again, maybe come up with a Believe playlist at the end of the year. And then we have other ones, again, all have amazing handwriting. Way better than my chunky handwriting. But then what I also love on the right is at the very bottom, you can see that they had to make a little bit of a change. And so they marked it out because, again, we were breaking up with perfection. So if you don't like it, you can erase it. If you don't like it, you can mark it out and change it. So again, I'm going to give you guys some time to work on, again, December journal, page 24, the acrostic poem at the top. And again, you can use words, phrases, the combination to have the full kind of complete idea. And we will go from there. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your beautiful and inspiring acrostic poems. I think we all definitely connected on the fact that there are a lot of E's in believe and there are a lot of words to come up with. I challenged myself to carry a sentence across 2 letters, made it, but I also then had to get out my phone to Google a action that starts with V. So we've all been there. But thank you. Would love to see all of your acrostic poems in the Silk and Sonder club app so we continue the conversation. But again, thank you everyone for sharing all of your fortune cookie embodiments, all of your visualizations, your words of the year, as well as your acrostic poetry using the word believe. But now we have come to the end of the social, believe it or not. I feel like it definitely always goes very quickly when we're trying to tackle a lot of these. But you guys were providing such amazing feedback. So Karen just added the links to the different things, but definitely you can scan the QR code to take the survey. You'll also receive it in an email a little bit later, but we read all of your feedback. We want to create, special events, create, more socials. There's also what time do you want socials, all those things. So please provide feedback there in the survey. We read them. And then also we're still doing the $10 for a friend if you refer a friend, and then $10 for you. And again, if you haven't already joined us in the Sonder Club app, the QR code is here as well as the link in the chat. We certainly love to continue the conversation, continue the support, as well as love seeing everyone's creative approaches to all of these journal prompts. But definitely love coming to the socials. You guys provide such amazing inspiration. And just that overall confidence to tackle some of these prompts, to know that I'm not alone with some of the struggles, not alone with the starting point, but to really be satisfied with the product at the end of the day. And then also the YouTube link for the social recordings. Karen will also provide that in there. That is to, in case you came late, if you needed to leave early, or if you just need to revisit. I always use that link. You can't search it. You can only use the link. I definitely go there because I feel like there are days when I just need a social and they're not always there. So it's a great way to walk through the prompts. You'll have the facilitator as well as the slides, but you won't have the chat, but you'll have some of the playlists. So it's a really good time to kind of create that self-reflection for the 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever you have, whatever works for your schedules to do that. I will also include a link to my playlist as well as the next slide for my playlist. But thank you everyone for joining us on this wonderful Thursday. Definitely check out, you can either go through the app to sign up for future socials. I know Karen has got some amazing ones coming up. She's an excellent facilitator for those kind of, she does this, she's the queen of Sunday scaries, but now she's also the queen of, I would say, the January scaries. So hope to see you all at a future social. Thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon.
It's been the kind of year I'd be fine if I forgot, yeah. But I'll never forget it as long as I live, and that's saying a lot. The wildest menagerie of unfortunate, crazy things, and now it's all over. So raise up your glass, here's to brand new beginnings, and leave in the past all the things that are ending. 'Cause tomorrow will bring us a new morning sun. My friends, I believe that the best is yet to come. So I guess now there's proof all good things must come to an end, yeah. And I couldn't tell you what comes next, but I do know that we'll never ever be standing here again. So here's to the memories. I'll forever keep them here with me. And I can't believe that it's over. So raise up your glass, here's to brand new beginnings, and leave in the past all the things that are ending. 'Cause tomorrow will bring us a new morning sun. My friends, I believe that the best is yet to come. Every ending is a new beginning, is a new beginning.